Hello everybody, this video is showing you how to use a new template that's downloadable from Craftworld. Now this template isn't the usual one, so usually we do a card shape. This is actually for inside the card. So this is going to have a lovely I love you pop-up created inside your card. So what you do in regards to the decoration on the outside is entirely your choice. These are really good fun, but they're actually really difficult to work out, so it's very hard to kind of figure out your own. So these templates are invaluable. Now I've taken this one and I have sprayed it onto a piece of red cardstock. I'm kind of thinking Valentine's for this would be really nice. It would be perfect for a Valentine's card for a man as well, because it's not too soppy, is it? It's got a fun kinetic feature as well. So I've taken my template, I've cut out the actual card shape. Just so you know, the card as it is, as I've printed it out, this is just over 5 by just over 7 inches. So that's going to fit inside, well actually I fold it up, I put it inside a larger card base. So this is a 5 by 7 card base, because once this is folded in half, it's actually going to sit with a nice border around the edge inside. But I'll show you that bit in a little bit. So I have used a repositionable adhesive just to spray my template and just to keep it tacked down onto the card there. And I'm going to use a craft knife today because it's much easier than trying to do this with scissors. So you've got the heart at the top there. Now if you do have a small heart die, I'm sure I've got one around here somewhere that actually, yes I do have, so I'm just going to grab this. It's a little bit larger than the heart on there, but I'm actually going to use the heart shaped die. It's much easier to do that than to try hand cutting that heart out. But all the other solid lines you need to cut. Now whether you use a ruler usually or not, it's up to you. You can try and use a trimmer if you want to on these straight lines, but you're going to need to get your craft knife in there for the curved lines anyway. So just trim down there. We're actually going to also come along here and take this little section out that's underneath the heart, just there, and follow all along these lines. Now this can take a little while, but I find cutting with a craft knife really therapeutic. I make sure I've got the time to do it. I'm not in a hurry. I make sure my craft knife is extremely sharp as well. It does make a big difference. You don't sometimes notice actually how blunt your craft knife has become over time. So yeah, ensure that your knife is very, very sharp as well. So I'm just going to work my way all the way along, being very careful to stop when the solid line stops, because you'll then, like the bottom of the U just here, go into a scoring line. Just got to come inside the U here. So I do my straight lines quite quickly, but I take my time on the curved lines. And sometimes you can find actually afterwards you can go in with some detail scissors and just neaten up if you've got any edges that weren't as neat as you'd like. I've gone there. I need to do at the top here. Now you don't have to, with this heart, you don't have to cut the centre out of that. I think I've done that bit. You can leave the centre there if you want to. Again, if you've got a heart-shaped die that fits in there, you could use that. It's entirely up to you whether you want it solid, whether you want to take the time to cut that out. I'm just going to speed this bit up while I just finish off cutting around the heart shape, and then we'll go on to the scoring lines. So now I just need to carefully check that that's all cut through. I'm not removing my template at the moment. I just want to make sure that that's cut through all the layers of both my template and the cardstock, which I believe it has. Yep. So then I'm going to bring in my trimmer. Now you can do your scoring on a scoreboard or a trimmer. So I'm going to use a trimmer for this. I kind of vary between the two. If I've got little bits like this to do, sometimes I just find my trimmer is easier. So what we're using on the Creative Trimmer is the white blade. This is our scoring blade rather than our cutting blade. So I'm just positioning the score lines just inside the gully there as such, the gap, and scoring these. I go over them quite a few times as well to do the ends, the centre of the card, the centre fold of the card, and then lastly there, just one there, and the bottom of the U. Doesn't matter if you overscore ever so slightly, as I have. You're not going to see that once you've got the card all in position. Now we can remove this all. Take all of this away. And there we go. Oops, I tore mine, but if you're careful, you can reuse it, of course. And I just want to fold the centre lines first of all. So just pinch the corners, and that's just going to bring that up. Now, by doing this, you can work out which way your other folds are going to go. So the bottom here is going to be a valley fold. So you need to push that fold so that that's down. Then the next one along, which is just not quite at the top of each letter, just second from the top, is going to be a mountain. So push that in, and we're not doing really strong lines at the moment, we're just getting the general shape. Just ensure that you've cut and scored everything where you need to. So that very top line is another valley fold, and then you should see you've got your letters sticking out and then going down. And now we can fold our card just gently, making sure that all those score lines lay flat in there. And when you open your card up, you should see that the I love you just pops out. Now this little bit behind the U is going to glue onto your card base. So let's take a card base here, and like I say, I've got one that's slightly larger. We're going to put our glue all the way around the edge of the red here and around the letters, going down into the U, and then the same on the base. The bottom piece is much easier, much less cut out there. Around the heart as well, and just make sure any little pieces that would accidentally get caught maybe lift up. I have got a little dab of glue on them. Let's fold this in half and pop this just inside there of your card, up against the score line so it's folded nice and flat, and press everything down. Now if you've cut and scored everything, that should open up and you should have the I love you just standing out as you open the card. Now like I say, you can decorate the card, the front, in any way you want to. You can have it horizontal or vertical, and then you've got I love you in the middle. So use this template, which is downloadable on Craftworld, to create your own pop-up sentiment inside your cards.